Well, today it looks like the divine masculine on the surface, chances are they might be trying to end a cycle. End a cycle with somebody that gets off by being withholding. And there's so much grief. I really feel like this masculine, whoever it is that we are going to be tuning into today, they're actually still stuck in a game, trying to figure out how much they can get out of a situation that's making them miserable because they're experiencing such supreme loss. Like divine feminine, this is you. This is you right here. You're still being encouraged to keep walking away from this person, mostly because if you keep holding on to them, in some ways, ah, I hate to say that you're playing the game with them, but you guys are mirroring each other so much. And there's something about the universe. They want to give you some information so that you can be the better example about everything that's going on. Wow. Okay. So, welcome in, everybody. If this sounds like your person, you are more than welcome to stick around. If we haven't met yet, my name is High Priestess Berries, psychic medium and divine channeler, hoping to bring you a message. Now, always remember, my messages are candid, unscripted, but they're also timeless, so please tap into your instincts. Listen to your intuition. If there is anything that I talk about that doesn't make any sense, totally fine. Do not worry about it. This message may not be for you, but if it does resonate, please let me know by sharing and liking your situation in the comments below. Liking your situation? Weird. But if you do need some more in-depth guidance, I do provide personalized services, readings, and energy healing as well. So, all right, there we go. I really feel as though just stepping into this masculine's energy, they do not know the order of things. There is absolute chaos going on within their reality, and it's because they keep thinking about you. And it's they know you're off to a brand new beginning. Many of you, if you've been able to walk away, start working on elevating your own vibration, this person's curious about what it is that you're up to. And I really feel as though you're not having it. It's hard to say, but they keep thinking about you. And I think it's more that they're pulling on your information. So we're going to get an idea of what their feelings are towards their situation in general. We'll also ask to see what are their feelings toward the karmic, also towards you. We'll get a message from the universe to kind of help guide you on your next steps. We'll see what the DM might be doing in their next steps, and we'll get a potential final outcome. But we do have the Father of Wands. Like, this person, they're really stuck in a bullied situation. It's sort of like, well, no, you are doing this. Well, no, you are doing this. There's this back and forth rhetoric I keep picking up between this. It's so weird. Like, there's this feeling of genderization. I know that's very unusual, but it's sort of like, why don't you be the man about the situation? And then the other person flipping around saying, well, why don't you be the man of the situation? This person's stuck in this like pickleball or racquetball game of blame shifting. But it's because both of them are lying to each other. Both of them are trying to like they're trying to keep secrets. They're trying to put, oh, if you guys remember seeing that strength card a little bit earlier, they're both in this very vulnerable position because they both kind of fucked each other over. What are their feelings about their situation? Oh man, they both want a brand new beginning. Let's see, let's get some clarity on what's going on right now. It's so funny, I'm a little bit paused, but I'm actually, this is a very unusual deck to use to clarify. I want to grab the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle. And it doesn't matter if you or your person, if they're sober, if they're into doing drugs, there's something about escapism that's really backfired on this divine masculine along with their karmic feminine. So I'm just going to get like one card because this is a pretty robust deck. Plus the imagery is just beautiful. But what is it about this fool? Sing. Ah. And it's actually more like sing, shout. There's some kind of weird competitive nature between these two. Like, it's sort of like if we wanted to be, let's be literal, because like we do have some birds flying around all over the place. Each of these people, the divine masculine, like they're trying to express themselves, but I feel as though it turned hella competitive because when you have a King of Wands, you know, as much as there's like the like derpy tongue sticking out kind of silliness, at the same time, this person, they're trying to prove that something to this karmic, and the karmic is trying to prove something to them. And I think some of them are just considering brand new careers. What do we have here? Witch doctor. Oh man. So this masculine, if you've been following me on TikTok, there's this feeling like the masculine has wanted to heal the karmic. They really have wanted to go out of their way to heal this karmic individual because they have at some point discovered what their beautiful magical gifts are. However, it's not working. And at first, this masculine kept negotiating against themselves, thinking, well, I'm brand new, so I need to keep practicing. Well, maybe I just need to try something different and keep practicing. But this masculine hasn't quite recognized that to heal somebody requires consent. And this karmic individual, whoever it is that they actually don't want to be healed because as long as they stay broken, they stay traumatized, they stay sick, they get all the attention. There is no incentive for this karmic person to grow and to thrive. How are their feelings towards their karmic person? Oh, God. It's sort of like I see this 10 of swords right here, but I'm hearing more like this feels like beating a dead horse. And I really don't think this masculine is really quite getting what's going on. They keep trying to resurrect this. Like, they're not really good at healing this person in the first place because they don't understand that this karmic does not want to be healed. The connection is dead. Like, this is a confirmation. This connection is actually dead, but this masculine is so arrogant. Whoa, is so arrogant that they genuinely believe that they could be like Jesus and raise Lazarus from the dead. There's kind of a reason why you're not hopefully involved with this. And if this is you dealing with this masculine directly, just know that where they are coming from is from a space where they're trying to force somebody to heal because they're not healed themselves. And this is a little bit of your energy right here. In some ways, this masculine has been watching you. Maybe they've been spying on you and they see how much better that you are doing. Even if you walked away, even if you guys don't speak to each other anymore, this masculine is spying on you. Like, especially when it comes to the internet, it is a lot easier these days to see if someone has been creeping on you because the algorithm's designed to suggest certain people. So if you've noticed that the counterpart's name is showing up in your list of suggestions or mutual friends or family members are showing up, that is a little bit of a confirmation that this person is spying on you, though they're too much of a chicken shit to step up because they don't feel like they're ready. Like in some ways, they feel like until they heal this person, they aren't worthy of you. And it's the most ass backwards logic because they see that you're doing so. Like, look at you. Even if you're a dude, like, wouldn't you want to look like this consummate hottie right here? You're in this glamorous glow up. And they do also see that you're healing other people. Like, even if it is like you have children, the children are thriving, they're learning to grow up. Even if you have pets, like something about them is quite magical. Like, this masculine is looking at you with this sort of envy and awe, but the way they're going about it is just backwards. How are their feelings towards you? It's destiny. Like there's something that even this masculine, they cannot deny there is destiny. Now, in this particular deck, if you saw like the Page of Swords, I don't know if the Page of Swords will come up. This is sort of that spying, them creeping on you. And even if they're not creeping on you on the internet, if they keep coming to mind and you're getting irritated, it's sort of like, why are you thinking about me? And why am I thinking about them? Like, you both are picking up on each other telepathically. Like, I guess what I kind of want to see, like, what is it that the masculine is trying to say to the feminine? It's more so from their higher self. Their ego self is over here. Like, it's funny, the snake's head is getting cut off right there. This masculine on the 3D side, like they've kind of lost their mind. They're going a little bit crazy at this point just because they're going in the opposite direction of their intuition. They're trying to please somebody. I think some of these masculines have been haunted by a past situation where they felt like they let somebody down. Maybe they let you down. I'm sure there are some masculines out there who recognize that they weren't able to show up for their feminine the way that they had hoped. But there's still something very fated about what's going on here. All right, cool. Bliss. This, oh my God, I just realized this is also the Wheel of Fortune in this particular Oracle deck. Like, You know there's fate involved with this. They know that there is fate involved with this. And in some ways, this could feel as though it's the blind leading the blind. What do we have up here? Peace. You guys are mirroring each other like crazy. I think some of you might be going a little bit nuts because there are these weird circumstances, probably even a lot of emotions coming up to the surface. This masculine, the only way that they're going to be able to break free from this particular cycle is being able to look at themselves in the mirror. In many ways, this person, they've been trying to alter their appearance, or they've been trying to make themselves look like the karmic person. And as a result, they've aged. Like, I really feel like whoever this masculine is, they look older than they're supposed to look. And it's because they are entrenched in this karmic energy. And all it means is like, they're invested their time, energy, and money into something that's not within their alignment. And it creates this friction on our energy where we overcommit too much energy. Like, this person is exhausted. They're trying to do their own thing. Like, do you see this cute little kitty cat coming up to say hello? And cats are a spirit of independence, trying to do their own thing. But it's like they've been trying to mimic you and mirror you, but they're using their energy on somebody that is I would say a vacuum. That's funny. They're a vampire, they're a succubus. And it's because, again, this karmic person, they actually don't want to be healed, because as long as they are sick, as long as they are traumatized, as long as they have their excuses, they have no reason to heal. It's because this masculine continues to focus on their karmic rather than focusing even on their own inner femininity. What's the message from the universe that you should know? Five of Swords. Oh yeah, Five of Swords, and then yeah, we had the Seven of Swords underneath here. You're going to be picking up a lot of stuff from this dynamic in the back of your mind. And it's going to be very important to listen. Like, you can listen to the thoughts, but you need to know if something is actually yours. Like, one of the most difficult things when we're so entrenched in somebody else's bullshit, we lose ourselves. We start looking at illusions. We get a little bit caught up trying to change everybody else except ourselves. And it's coming up this way because Divine Feminine, you're at risk of still focusing too much on this external masculine rather than focusing on your internal masculinity. The whole purpose of a twin flame journey is to bring you back into yourself, to get to know yourself for the first time. Some of you, you would look forward to having a reunion with this masculine. Others of you, you're trying so hard to get away. And whichever way that you are feeling drawn towards, you need to focus on yourself and understand that you're really hella telepathic, and you could be picking up on arguments that this masculine is having with the karmic. But if that's the case, be very careful, because it means that you have a karmic person in your life who's in the same energetic vibration that you are still entertaining. You guys are mirroring each other. So if there's something that's irritating you mentally, emotionally, or physically, it's just a sign to let you know you have a karmic. You've got someone that you are entangled with that needs to be dealt with. What do we have? Codes in nature's miracles. Like, your sensitivity to nature is going up during this time. Like, divine feminine energy is being so sensitive to even the smallest little shifts within their 3D. We can easily lose ourselves in the overwhelm, and it's just the universe talking to you with all the little details of life. And as the calmer you get, the easier it is for you to navigate around karmic situations, detaching yourself emotionally from other people's problems. It becomes a lot easier to discern this. What do we have? Karma, literally. Karma. Ida Joe, which this in here is the judgment. This is judgment. Um, Actually, okay, there's a very specific thing. As much as you might have feelings about this karmic person that the divine masculine is entertaining, there's something about this person you need to release. Whether if that is they hurt you, that you're angry that they lied to your masculine, maybe they manipulated your masculine, and it's probably true. However, manipulation, it's a very broad term, and sometimes we can use it to vilify other people. And there's an ask within here. What about this situation? What is it that you were lying to yourself about? What were the red flags when you were interacting with this person in the 3D that you just ignored? You wrote it off. You felt as though, well, normally I wouldn't approve of someone being into this. You know, maybe this person's into pornography or something like that. Maybe in the past relationships, you had zero tolerance for that behavior, but it's sort of like, well, with this person, maybe I'll give them a chance. And sometimes we make exceptions because there's something within our soul contract we need to understand about each other, where if we just judged them and walk away, we wouldn't understand our shadow self. But there's an ask for you to be introspective. Can you think about how you got into this situation? Can you think about what it is that you compromised in order to keep the masculine? And in some ways, try to become something that you were not, because that is a form of manipulation. You were doing it from a state of want. Maybe you were struggling with self-worth at the time, but there's something that you have done in order to break free from this person that the masculine is learning from, and you're just one step ahead of them. And you're just being asked to release these thoughts, release any kind of conflict that comes in. It isn't yours to deal with. It's for somebody else. It is for this masculine to face. No more meddling, I'm hearing. What are the actions that divine masculine is likely to take? Um, I feel like they're going to kind of stand still, but they're going to observe what's going on. They need to observe their karmic situation. Many of them haven't quite figured out that consent is key, and you can't force somebody to heal. And if this masculine came from a family where everyone interfered in everybody else's business, that can be a little bit of a post-war trauma. Uh, and especially if this was like 3 or 4 generations ago, if this family had a post-war trauma, always having to check in, making sure that other people are okay, being there for each other when mental health resources weren't available, like in the 40s and the 50s. There's a loop that this masculine hasn't quite yet conquered or understood, but at least they're kind of keeping the door open on their karmic situation, but I don't really get much movement. Channeling. This is kind of interesting because we saw for you, Divine Feminine, the codes in nature. And I was talking about being so hella sensitive to everything around us. Masculine is actually tuning into their natural gifts within the earthly realm. In a lot of ways, they are starting to become a little bit more interested in animal guides, trying to understand symbolism and idiosyncrasies. And maybe if you're new to this journey, you could be experiencing this as well. We are both masculine and feminine within our polarities. And for me personally, I genuinely believe that we need to understand both aspects in order to get a holistic view of our gifts. And the masculine, they need to kind of stick around in this situation. They can't really, sort of like, they can't restart with somebody brand new until they understand why they're stuck here in the first place. Highest self. I will give you some good news that this masculine is trying to connect with themselves. They're trying to understand their higher self. They want something better. They want to get to know themselves, their gifts, their creativity, and mainly their purpose. Because you notice that both of these are wand-like energies. Wands are their creativity, passion, drive, sometimes sexuality as well. But there's something that they need to work through. They need to balance out. And they're still a little bit obsessed with trying to prove themselves, trying to show up, trying to prove to this karmic that the karmic's life could be better if you just let me show you. This is almost like a street corner preacher kind of feeling, believe it or not. What's the potential final outcome? Ace of Swords. I mean, this is actually quite good news, especially for you. As you're understanding what thoughts are yours and what are not, and really understanding the level of beauty and sensitivity that you have within your gifts, divine feminine. Like you're understanding and getting so many little hints along the way to help you a lot of ways understand what the loop is, because you're going to stay in this loop for as long as it takes, and you're just being asked to document, take notes, understand why you're stuck here in the first place, because part of being on the spiritual path is to understand timelines, to understand, behavioral patterns, because some of you might go more towards an esoteric approach. Others of you will take a more scientific approach, and a lot of this has to do with your own personal unique code, your own interests. Some of you are going to be getting into a practice where you're going to be healers and teachers, artists and scientists. We need more people in the world that have a broad spectrum understanding of why people behave the way they behave. Why does the earth behave the way that it behaves? Outside of how do I phrase this? It's the way that the scientific community has been looking at things until now, nature science, climate change. Sure, people will keep coming up with literature about how the world is getting polluted and how things are going to get worse and more toxic in the earth. But how do you actually come up with a way to convince people and show people that they need to change in order to bring about change? I hope that makes sense. But so many people feel disempowered. And I think you and your masculine could be struggling with feeling disempowered. But rather than judging yourself for being in the loop, learn how to ride it and learn how to grow through it. I love that. Pay attention. Understanding your divine femininity and what it means to actually take care of your inner child. So many of you have been focused on maybe taking care of your own children or taking care of another adult who behaves like a child, and your femininity has been crudely used. I think this is the first time in like the 2 or 3 years that I've had this deck that this card has ever come up. So this is a brand new beginning. There is an end of an old cycle and a recognition, and in this case, this massive activation going on, not just in the crown, but in your solar star chakra, that you really start to understand why you need to connect to source and why you need to love on yourself. You're going through a rebirth, and many of you are going to feel almost infantile. Others of you are going to feel like maybe you are the child, and it could make you feel a little bit awkward, scared, confused, but rather than looking for that comfort externally, you're going to be able to grow by finding this internally. There we go. Codes of nature. Like going back and forth between getting the downloads from the solar star chakra and finally seeing it in your reality. Like you and the masculine are going through this, like you guys are mirroring. This is how it works. And, whether if you're watching this reading for a person in the 3D, or if you're trying to gain a better understanding of yourself, first of all, I would always congratulate you for trying to find a better understanding of yourself. Because again, inner unity requires you to have a loving understanding between your masculine side and your feminine side, because together they work holistically, and together it's all about love. So let's ask the moon witches, what is it that my lovely collective watching this video need to hear at this time to help encourage them and guide them on the next steps of their spiritual path? Full moon, harvest the fruits of your hard work. You've actually made an intention. Like go back into your journals if that's what you do and journal, but there's something that you had foresight about. Despite however things have worked out or not worked out with this counterpart, there's something that you've been working hard towards. You've had to separate yourself from karmic situations because you were overgiving to them, and they were taking your energy, taking your resources, even taking some of your ideas. Learning to clear this out and reset is everything to do with your particular path. Just honor everything that you've gone through, and honestly, make the most of everything that you've worked hard for. You've earned this. I'm just saying. Wow. Well, Whoever it is that you are, damn. I sincerely hope that this helped. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you like my style, please make sure to like the video on the way out. And if you're kind of curious about the next message, I highly recommend that you subscribe. And until I see you at the next one, I'm wishing you peace, love, and all the berries.